New move spells out roles for ATIKU, P2B, EL-RUFAI, others amid quest to sack TINUBU. 2027 general elections are about 2 years away, and the realignment of forces to dislodge the All Progressive Congress (APC) from power, especially at the federal level, appears to be on the upswing. In another development, a former top member of the APC, Alhaji Salihu Lukman, speaks of similar efforts gathering steam. Lukman, a former deputy national chairman of the APC North, in an interview monitored on Arise News, elaborates on his scheme, saying opposition figures in the country have a role to play as they have to jettison their presidential aspirations ahead of 2027 and provide leadership for a new political party to confront the APC. He urged former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who flew the People's Democratic Party's PDP presidential flag in the 2023 election, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party LP in the election, Mr. P2B, and the New Nigeria Project and the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP) standard bearer, Senator Rabiu Kwakwanso, to prioritize party building over personal ambitions. Lukman, who has since quit the APC, also extends the advice to former party members and opposition figures, including Mr. Rotimi Amechi, a former governor of Rivers State but later served as transportation minister under the Buhari administration. El-RUFAI, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, a former governor of Ekiti State, and Senator Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, a former governor of Sokoto State. According to Lukman, who was also one-time Director General of the Progressive Governors Forum, if these leaders set aside personal ambitions, it will prevent the imposition of candidates in 2027 and foster a stronger political alternative. You have been a key member of the APC. Now you are saying Nigeria needs better leaders. What are your grievances? What do you think is wrong with APC that you are asking all the critics and opponents of the administration to come together and push the some party to power? What is wrong with the APC is what is wrong with Nigeria in my view. And I think the view of most Nigeria. Now, I am reading a question and answer section, okay? Please kindly bear with me. Most Nigerians is that our democracy should give something much better than what we have today. I am not making any new proposals. If you have been following the debate during the merger negotiation that produced the APC, all these arguments have been raised about the kind of leadership a political party should have and what is required for a party to really position itself to direct elected representatives to meet the expectations of citizens. We argue that APC have failed. The failure of APC is largely due to its inability to meet a number of some of those criteria. Yes, I was a member of the NWC of the APC. I was part and parcel of the APC from formation to possible the present day, but that does not disqualify some of us from highlighting some of the limitations of the APC. And I think in terms of the problem of democracy, what was first the problem of Nigeria with PDP that led to the defeat of PDP in 2015? The major issue is that there was no competition with the party. The culture of imposition has taken over the party so much so that it is predictable anybody who has close relationships with Abuja with the presidency can pick ticket at any level of the party without bothering to contract relationships with other members of the party. And I think that those were some of the issues that we used to campaign against PDP and made the APC popular. And Nigerians trusted us and believed that we were capable of producing a party that could drive the process of changing Nigeria, which was the campaign mantra in 2015. Unfortunately, I am not shy to say that we failed largely because we ended up with another variant of PDP. The culture of imposition took over. Yes, we fought, and this is part of my grievance with President TINUBU as well. Knew very well that we stood up and faced what you call the cabal in the presidency under former President Buhari and ensured that a level playing field was provided within the party, which enabled him to win the ticket and become the presidential candidate of the party. So having done that, our expectation was that we return the party to its founding vision and begin to build a party that can now implement all the campaign promises and direct all elected representatives. But instead, all we see is that a more superior variant of imposition took over so much so that the party became a parastatal of the presidency and of the government. Leadership of the party cannot say anything contrary to what the president wants, and so long as that is the case, we can't make progress. Now, coming back to some of the issues which you highlighted, which I raised in the last piece, It's basically like an appeal to our opposition leaders, ATIKU, OBI, AMID, Fayemi, EL-RUFAI, Tambowal, among others. Because if you continue to play politics the old way, then Nigeria is not going to get any better. We are not going to produce better leaders. We will produce a new set of leaders which may continue the practice of imposition and become imperial, so much so that everybody is now rushing to them to access favors in government. And what have you, and that is not what democracy should be about. I think one of the most important things that came out of the conference that was held last week was the statement by the former president of Ghana and also a former presidential candidate. He made the point that politicians must be able to subordinate their personal ambition to the bigger interests of the country. And I think that it's where we are today, and as far as I'm concerned, if that is the case, and several times, I hear people lamenting about how in the Second Republic we had an NPA, a National Party of Nigeria, where the president, when it comes to party meetings, is an ordinary member, and Chief Augustus Akinloye, who was the party chairman, was leader of the party. Now, if you are going to get back to that, it is not going to be after the election and after defeating TINUBU and producing a president with that mentality. It's not that we should begin to align ourselves and ensure that in the whole campaign to defeat APC, we are not replicating exactly the mistake APC has made. We must tell all leaders to first drop the ambition, and in dropping the ambition, they must also be ready to make the needed sacrifice to commit to building in the party. If your strategy is all about let's have a party, and after having a party, we ensure that we impose our surrogates to become leaders of the party, then we are going back to square one. I think Nigeria should begin to watch, and when they see some of these leaders taking position in the party, that should give them confidence that yes, this is a new party and it's a serious business. It's going to depart from the old ways, and to that extent, therefore, the prospect of meeting the expectation of citizens will be high. Other than that, I think we may just be deceiving ourselves and Nigerians and imagine that we can produce anything better. Another question. You are talking about how the previous or past leaders are part of the problems that we currently have, and why those responsible for the failure should be humble enough to take a backseat in an effort to build a strong coalition and strengthen Nigerian politics. What if they are not ready to take a backseat? What other alternative would you propose? First, I will say that not a question of trying to get rid of the old guards. No, I think fundamentally my view, and I have said that several times, that what we have now made it only possible for leaders to show their bad side, and that the only way to push leaders to put their best side, the right food in the business of leadership, will be to create the framework, strengthen the structures of political parties that will subordinate them and make them accountable. I have said so several times that from former President Jonathan to Buhari and now TINUBU, I believe under a different condition, they may turn out to be better leaders. Unfortunately, they also contribute to a situation where they are turned out the way they did. So, if we are going to depart from that, which is why I'm saying, first and foremost, we must build a political party that everybody will subordinate themselves. It's possible. I give you, for instance, if I take Abubakar, Rabiu, Kwakwanso, Peter Obi, Rotimi Amaechi, and many others can subordinate themselves and go through competitive primary, because part of the problem is that a number of them were not able to develop the kind of relationship that will enable them to access even good advice. You know, the strategy is basically that I want you to subordinate yourself to me, but once you turn it the other way around, they may turn out to be better leaders. Sincerely speaking, I think we should not beg the question. Nigeria deserves much better, and current leaders must answer the question. What is their vision for the country? Is their vision for the country only to become president of Nigeria? We have seen that with Buhari, and we have seen it now with TINUBU. They have become presidents, they have achieved their vision, and in the end, it's debatable whether they are any better in terms of public standing. My appeal and my prayer is that within our lifetime, we'll be able to produce leaders who will work for the country, and on the basis that citizens who love them and the generation to come will continue to remember them. But you knew that President TINUBU had the conviction of I just want to be president when he supported the APC in the last election. Now you are talking about idealism. Would you expect anything different from him? They asked. And he answered, well, I will continue to debate all these issues. Yes, I supported President TINUBU. However, whether my way his ambition was just to become president, I can say publicly that I had the conviction that TINUBU is a truly progressive politician and a Democrat, and which was why I invested my support for him. But I didn't wait once I saw he was departing from those beliefs I had. I didn't wait any longer, and I was not pushed by anybody. In fact, if anybody must of the criticism I received today, people telling me that it's a mistake for me to have resigned, that I should have waited to fight inside. I mean, I could have only waited to compromise myself and become part of the establishment and become part of the fiscal structure of APC. And at the end of the day, damage myself. I am humble enough to admit that yes, my judgment was wrong, and I said it's a challenge to President Tinubu to prove many of us wrong. And if he did that, I will be the first to come out and apologize publicly and say again,